they're simple. Like we know that comic books and stuff draw from mythology all the damn time. Like like comic books are heavy. Comic book guys are heavy mythology looters, right? These guys don't necessarily understand the mythology, but you see, they take the Ankh. Like, look, they take the Ankh. You see, associated with the Ankh. What's his name? Dr. Fate. It's Dr. Fate. I think the DC character is also connected to the Ankh. You know, people made arguments that Superman is literally just a sun deity, right? Like he is literally a solar deity, and they make comparisons of him to Ra. We see Thor and Zeus and Odin. So we like comic books are full of, you know, mythology. Like honestly, it's part of why it's, you know, the attraction is, for me, it's always been there, right? Like comic books, I'm trying to think. No, mythology led me to comic books. That's literally how it worked. Like literally, I started reading some mythology. Like I didn't get into, I kind of had some comic books as a young kid. Like I initially had inherited a bunch of comics. Like my grandpa had an old stack, and I mean like some old school ass comic books, right? So I got into reading those, but it wasn't hardcore. And then I want to say, man, about the fifth grade, like I'd say about the fifth grade was where I started reading for a little deeper level, right? And maybe about, you know, 9 or 10 years old, I started reading at a deeper level, you know, just what I personally liked. It wasn't just comics. So I started reading mythology, and if you read mythology, and then I saw comic books, and I was like, oh, okay, this is the same stuff. And I think it was literally, I'm not joking, you guys, this was literally like Thor. I'd read about Thor, like I'd gotten a big book of mythology, and I read about Thor, and then I saw a Thor comic book, and I was like, word, right? And then of course, like I had some older cousins and uncles who were like, oh, get up on this Black Panther thing, right? So I got up on it, and I started, you know, then even within, you know, watching the Black Panther, they talk about Bastet. So I was like, oh, man, there's so much mythology that's actually hidden in comic books. And again, you know, writers sometimes they fully know the belief system. Most of the time they don't, right? Most of the time, like they take what they think is a good part and they transform it, right? Like we could go through the list. I mean, like the fact that it's, you know, Professor or Dr. Fate, and, you know, all the, you know what I'm saying? Like it's all these, everybody gets a piece of this, right? Everyone, you know, Black Adam is written off of like actual mythology, right? Like where he's supposed to be culturally, what, like all that stuff. Shazam, like, because I think, you know, and I'll talk about this in a separate video, but Black Lantern, literally, like Shazam was like Shu, Heru, I forget, then like Zahudi, all that was initially based, and they've changed it since then. But if you go back to the earliest iterations of it, all that stuff's based on like ancient Kemetic beliefs. So Shazam, Black Adam, a lot of this stuff is, right? And this is another example. Now, people typically recognize that symbol here this symbol here as Green Lantern symbol. Like culturally, we know this. It represents a ring that is capable of creating light, right? It surrounds its bearer with protection, and it's known for enforcing order across the universe, right? So you know this, right? This is what the ring does. It's a symbolic relationship between the ring, protection, and cosmic authority. But it doesn't start with the Green Lantern. This story, this myth did not start with the Green Lantern. This actually began thousands of years ago. That Kemetic culture in North Africa, in Kemet, right? I'm not talking about Egypt. I'm only talking about Kemet right now. They expressed its same idea through the Shen. That's what the Shen actually represents. All those things we talk about from the Green Lantern. So this is a cultural interpretation of the Green Lantern through that Shen, where I'm looking at it as this is an extension. This is Shen mythology. This is the story of the Shen carried out into, you know, this progression into modern comic book town. So this is not arguing against the Green Lantern or taking anything away. I'm simply getting back to the root of where this symbolism actually comes from, right? So then we look at the Green Lanterns, which you guys all know. The series is out, and I did watch the new series, which is what got me even thinking about it. So visually, the Shen is the emblem is a circle positioned between two horizontal forms. We can see that pretty easy. Normally understood as a simplified lantern, but within the mythology, it becomes more than a physical lamp. Like, we get that. The ring represents, it's the power ring. It is protective light, right? It even says it in like the oath that they use, right? It is membership in a cosmic order. It is authority that extends all across space. It is will imposed upon physical reality. And it's the responsibility, hey, Fiore! It is the responsibility to defend assigned territory. So this symbol identifies someone who has been granted authority to protect and maintain order within an entire cosmic sector. So this last point becomes especially important when we introduce the Shen, because the Green Lantern is not merely a person who carries a weapon. He is surrounded by it, right? He operates inside of it. This is his authority. This is the circle of his authority. And we get that. And we can see that symbolism. And there's a couple of versions of the Shen. There's a double Shen, right? So it's a symbol that has been around for a very long time. And we know this symbol. Now, the Shen itself is a Kemetic symbol formed from a loop of rope brought together at its base. The name is connected with encircling, or literally symbolizing that which surrounds. So now we're talking about encirclement, eternal protection, completeness, continuity without ending, divine authority over what has been encircled, right? Your sector, and also the ordered universe is contained within this protective barrier. So these are all the things that we see. The circle is important because it has no visible beginning or ending. That's always important for this type of symbolism, right? But the Shen means more than just abstract infinity. It expresses the power to surround something, to protect it, and to hold it within an enduring order, just like they would do with their sector. This is why the Shen appears in the graphs of divine figures. There's tons of figures. Heru is symbolized before he goes off to war as holding the double Shen. It's a power implement, right? It is literally a power implement. So we know this stuff. So the Shen appears in divine protection figures. We see it with Heru. We see it with Kemet, right? And these are not merely holding jewelry. They are extending a protection, right? Let me see if I can find. I should pull one of these images up. See if I can find an image of the double. Oh, this is it right here. This is it, right? How fortuitous for all of us that this is right here. So let's open this bad. See if I can save this bad boy here. Where are you at? Okay. And this is an important symbol here. This is a very, very powerful symbolism, because this is when Heru's like coming back to get stuff straightened out, right? He's been dealing with some nonsense, and this is him, right? And you can see that in his claws right here. This is the falcon, or arguably the hawk form, whichever, I know that's always debated. I still believe it's the falcon form, but I've heard some arguments about it. That doesn't really matter as much as, like, this is the Shen that you see here in the hawk, in the bird's claws, right? We have the Shen. So this was like I'm about to power up. I have a galactic or cosmic weapon in hand, and I'm about to go deal with some business. So we see it's that same role. He was maintaining cosmic order. Now, I'm not saying that Heru is like the first cosmic policeman, like, that's what they call the lanterns, like, kind of casually, is that they're space cops, right? I'm not saying that he is a cosmic cop. I'm simply saying he was the dude who was tasked with restoring order, and he happened to be carrying these symbols. And these symbols were known for providing power, right? They're known for providing power. They are literally power symbols. And the fact that he has the double Shen means he's really about to go handle some business. So that's effectively what we're saying. And you'll see this Shen symbol. I'm trying to think I can find a couple more. And I just did a quick search online. In fact, let me even just like clean it up a little bit. And you're going to find this symbol everywhere. It's an ancient symbol. And let me see, this is a better one. This is kind of a better. And this kind of even, I think, represents it a little more closely. Right. Let's see. Let me pull this one up for you guys here. Okay. Come on. Okay. So this is another kind of a cleaner version, right? So you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Like we kind of see in this version of it, it's a lot more, similar to this. And the lantern core, it literally does exactly the same thing. This is what you would use the Shen effectively do. Although I believe it's a power symbol unto itself. But we can see that very strong connection, not only visibly, but what they represent. So we've seen figures like Heru, Nekhebet. They're not merely holding this as jewelry. This is weaponry. This is cosmic warfare. Again, when the battle between, if you're defending Ma'at, which I would say that's a version of what the lanterns are doing, you are preserving Ma'at, you're preserving order. That's just a cultural interpretation of it, but it fits. It fits very seamlessly between what they are and how this symbol was actually used, right? So if we look at kind of the overlap between the two, in the Green Lantern mythology, power is concentrated into the ring. The ring is not incidental to the character, right? You're not the Green Lantern without that ring, right? Batman's still Batman without a cape or battery. All those stuff are extensions of him. He's still who he is without it. Superman is still who he is without his weapon. Wonder Woman is still who she is if she doesn't even have that lasso, right? She's still Wonder Woman. The Green Lantern isn't that. He is not who he is without it. And that authority can be passed along. So he is not the source of the power. The ring or the symbolism itself is the source of the power. That's not incidental. And that same symbolic logic exists in the Shen. It is a closed ring. It is not an empty space. Encirclement is itself power. That's the power that it has. The ring establishes boundaries. The ring establishes protection, what is preserved, what is placed under authority. Very similar to that Green Lantern symbolism. Now, the Green Lantern kind of modernizes this principle by turning the symbolic symbol into visual energy, right? We watch the ring produce shields, barriers, containment fields, and protective structures. It takes the ancient idea literally. The circle protects whatever is surrounded by it. And that's the principal idea that we want to get through talking about the Shen. Now, I did watch, the first episode, and like I said, I'm not necessarily a aficionado in Lantern Corps lore, but I do understand this part, and I quickly identified what the symbolism kind of meant and what it looked like. So if we look at this, the next overlap, it is protection through encirclement. Green Lantern's power repeatedly manifests itself by surrounding stuff. It's a shield around the bearer. It's a sphere around another person. Like we saw the scene where Hal has to attack the alien, right? He puts shields around it, right? He told him, if you have the alien, if you haven't watched it, spoiler alert, but too bad, go watch it. It's been out for several days now, right? But the alien is telling him, yeah, so I've got, this devastating bomb inside of my body, right? Inside of my body. It's devastating. It's going to kill you, me. It's going to kill everybody in here. And Hal tells him, yeah, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to surround you in a sphere of this energy and it's going to explode. It ended up destroying the alien, just predictably like he said, but he kept everything around. So he can create barriers. He can put a spear around a person. He can put a barrier around a city. He can have a containment structure around any threat, an energy field that is preserving life in space. That is the Shen symbolism translated into superhero action. The Shen itself communicates protection through the act of surrounding. Green Lantern visually demonstrates the same principle every time the ring creates a barrier. Even when he goes into space, he's creating a barrier around himself, right? So he can still breathe and function in the rigors of space. So this is what we're seeing. To encircle something is to place it under protection. And that's probably the strongest bridge in the entire comparison because it joins the symbolism shape directly to its function. right? We can see it. It's encirclement, which clearly, guys, tells you exactly what the purpose. And they go and use it exactly in that same methodology. Now, the third overlap here is their cosmic kind of junction here. The Green Lantern Corps divides the universe into sectors. Each lantern is given a responsibility for protecting the life and maintaining order within that assigned territory. Now, the Shen also carries the idea of authority extending over an encircled area. In royal symbolism, the act of encircling expressed dominance over an ordered world. So everything reached or enclosed by the divine order, including solar power. So that symbolism is remarkable, right? On the Shen, we have encircles a protective domain. The Green Lantern are assigned a cosmic territory. Same concept. The Shen represents enduring protection. The ring shields life from danger. The Shen expresses divine or royal authority, whereas the ring expresses authority granted by the Lantern Corps. Mad questionable stuff on those guys' parts as well. We'll talk about that in a separate piece, but we're on this, right? The Shen contains and preserves order. It protects Ma'at. The Green Lantern ring, it maintains order within the universe, particularly like your sector that you're in, although you can go to other sectors when they need help. Now, the Shen contains and preserves order. It also has power that is applied to what it's surrounded. And the ring does the same thing. It's constantly feeding power into it. Now, the other overlap gap that I see in this is in the belief system that developed this. In Kemetic thought, it was not simply about personal protection. It participates in the preservation of order existence against the forces of disorder and destruction. Green Lantern mythology operates in that same kind of cosmic pattern. The core exists to impose structure upon a universe constantly attacked by threats of chaos, violence, fear, and collapse. So the lantern is therefore not merely carrying light into a physical space. The lantern is defending cosmic order, or we would say it as Ma'at, right? And this is a powerful connection. The Shen protects the boundaries of order existence. The Green Lantern protects the boundary of an ordered universe. So symbolically and on a hierarchy, they're kind of the same thing. And this makes this emblem more than a lantern. It becomes the mark of someone entrusted with maintaining this protective circle. Like the Green Lantern isn't just some regular ass guy, right? He is a guy who has been deemed worthy by this cosmic order. They sit up here and they have said that, Hal Jordan, or in this case now John Stewart, you are worthy of having this power. You're worthy of this cosmic level energy resource that you can use to protect the cosmos. This is a planetary or cosmic level weapon in a lot of ways. So we see that very clearly from them. Now, the next one I'm going to go to is that the ring, there is also, the Shen itself is eternal. The bearer of that Shen is temporary in both regards. The individual Green Lanterns can die, they can retire, they can fail, they can be replaced, but the ring and the position continue. The bearer is temporary. The cosmic responsibility is enduring. So this parallels the Shen's relationship with continuity. The individual inside the protected order may change, but the circle remains something intended to outlast a single human life. And this is particularly visible. Lanterns fall, the ring searches for a new one. It doesn't even care about you. You're not even special outside of the fact that, maybe you didn't have fear or maybe you had exceptional discipline. But as far as controlling power, you are not that. The ring brings you that. The ring, the power of the ring is therefore transferred. The protector of the sector always remains. The office continues. So the ring closes the gap between one protector and the next. And that's continuity through this circular power. Now, when modern audiences see this emblem, they see Green Lantern. And this is fine. This is normal. Green Lantern's been around for a long time. It's a very popular character. This is not even the first series, I think, on it. And I know we've had a few films about it. But when you read it through a Kemetic symbolic language, we see something older. We see the ring as protection, the circle as authority, and encirclement as preservation of the cosmic order itself. Green Lantern did not create this symbolic power. It gave that power in modern mythology. That's the difference, right? The Shen never stopped working. It became unfamiliar. So this is old mythology. It's not, again, it's a figure that we've known for a long time culturally, but it's clearly, it doesn't get the love that the Ankh does, right? So we don't necessarily recognize it when we see it. It's become obscured. Its sacred meaning has been translated into science fiction, which we see a lot of stuff does. But the central idea of what the Shen represented continues to exist. The lantern is not the original idea. Green Lantern is just a modern expression of an ancient idea, which I think is cool. Like, it's still surviving. It keeps the symbolism enduring. I'm sure the symbol will persist long after we don't even talk about the Green Lantern anymore, because lots of people still carry it spiritually, right? Like, if you can see, probably can't, but that's the Shen. That's essentially the Shen, right? I got the Shen and I do the double Shen, right? Because to me, it represented a power symbol, right? So if I was a hero, this is my power symbol. So I have them appropriately, right, in place. So it's interesting that, we get a lot of mythology built off of, a lot of comic books built off of ancient mythology, but a lot of it slips past us. And this is something that, just watching the series, I kind of wanted to do a little more research, and I was aware of this angle or this viewpoint of it. So I just wanted to, obviously share it with you guys, kind of express what I was feeling when I saw it. And I think symbolically, I think it's important. I think it's right in line, exactly, obviously, what this channel talks about all the time, which is, ancient symbolism coming into mythology. And this was, the perfect opportunity. This is the perfect one here. So if you take a look at those symbols, I think you'll see it. Read up on the Shen a little bit if you choose. I think there's a lot of information that's still out there about it that you can talk about. But if you look at how it was used, how it was represented, I think it's a very clear line between, ancient mythology coming on to a modern representation. So they just gave it a more kind of comic booky or sci-fi kind of approach to looking at some ancient symbolism, which, happens all the time, right? It happens all the time. Mjolnir in comic book is not the same as Mjolnir in mythology, but we accept it. And there's a lot of other weapons or artifacts that go along with it. So just wanted to take a break to kind of talk about this Shen. I'm going to do a little myth reading. So if you guys enjoy mythological readings like bedtime stories, I got a great collection. I'm going to be running a stream tonight after I kind of get ready to relax myself. It's kind of a relaxing feat. So I'll have that going live if you guys want to check it out. Usually run it like overnight. So if you're having trouble sleeping and you just want to hear some calm, smooth mythology, right? Well, to me, so I think it's pretty calm and smooth, but it's definitely going to be running tonight. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. Thank you for stopping in. Appreciate the support always. And I'll be back again. Like I said, look for that live stream. I'm going to probably get that loaded in about an hour for you guys. So it'll run from about 7. And I'll probably run it through the morning. Just a stream of nice mythology stories I think you guys will appreciate. So as always, thanks for giving me a couple of minutes of your time. And I will check you guys out later on.